Right now.
She put Ron and I'm like. I was like, that is so, I'm still taking this forever.
That's fun.
She's like, what are you talking about? Oh, actually, would be funny. I promise you, it'll be great.
So you're taking your day off,
Yeah, I'm waiting. I'm sitting.
How are you? Very well.
We just got back from vacation, so. A little bit of rain here and there, but it's. That looked cooler, just leaving and all that was going on.
It's a mess down there. Then I go tomorrow Thursday. That's Thursday, Sunday.
Just glad it's not being dirty.
Well, Angela said Tim and Randy will not be here, so you probably knew that, okay.
Yeah. As long
Save
as,
this bus.
as long as three of us are here.
Yep.
Ron.
Figured it'd be rowdy in the corner.
That one.
It's full of coffee.
Really, just wait a second, I gotta change his battery.
No. No. You can actually, I don't know. Yeah, practice. The softball. from
One's
4 to
gonna do
6,
it.
and I'll skate from 6 to 10. No, 4 more years. Oh, that's it, 4 more years. Actually, a year, and she'll be driving. So then
Change one of them.
Just let me position myself so I can read it.
It looks like it's working out.
It's going. It's moving. This is working. I can see you guys right here.
As I say, hopefully
This is a lot of technology here. It's like,
Hopefully one of the other members so that you have
Right.
back on here.
yeah.
Does it work? Does it work for me to go on and pay for my dog license?
Yes, yeah, you can,
So I
absolutely.
just put the dates in there
Yep.
and that works.
Sure.
Okay.
Yep, because I'll get the message. Yeah.
I'm sharing a coffee.
Call to order this regular city council meeting of the Osakis City Council at Osakis City Hall on Monday, July 14th, 2025 at 7 p.m. Let's please rise for pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Any adjustments to the agenda that you would like to make?
I'm good. I will approve the agenda as presented. I need a motion to approve the agenda as presented. Second.
Motion made and seconded to approve the agenda as presented. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Consent agenda, minutes, reports, and the bills. Any issues with any of that?
If we can look out, just for brief discussion, the overtime report and the first responders, we have Patty here. So if we could pull those two out for a little bit of discussion.
And you want to start with Hattie?
Sure, okay.
Was it 2 years ago, we had an issue with voting on the board for the first responders. We were at tie vote. So we brought it to city council for them to figure out what we should do. At that time, it was voted upon that no fire would hold a member of the board. So at the point, we have now gained members, we have gained 3 in the last 2 years. And we would like to open it up that fire can, because we have 3 that are on fire and first responders, if they can hold a board position. But some of us are hesitant on that because it was voted that no one would hold a board, a fire would hold a board member spot. So now for the last 3 years, it's been the same 3 people. It's been Shannon, myself, and Jason Halsted on the board. And none of us really want to. We want to bring other people, other thoughts. But they have voted, city council has voted not to have fire on there. So we come to ask if we can amend that a little bit. I know Shannon can't be here tonight, our president, but she's talked to Laura about it. And then I came from the rest of the board, because Malmsted couldn't come to answer any questions you guys have.
The only thing that I would question is as long as it's not the chief or the second in command from the fire side.
Yeah, like second command. So our fire is Craig Dropick, Kyle Swenstead, and Austin. I don't remember Austin's fire.
Yeah.
Yeah, fire. Those are the 3 that are on EMS. Shannon and I have been talking, and we feel like as long as the fire is not held by president is not held by a fire position, it would be fine, right, vice president or secretary, but we also would like your guys' approval or opinions on it. Because we'll vote again in December for next year's board. So we're kind of just trying to get ahead of it a little bit.
Do you want some direction on that?
Kind of. We would like to, but we also have time. But I know that we might lose some people if certain people were able to get on the board, but we're all adults, we need to suck it up. We're volunteers, you know what I mean? I've been on it 6 years now. There's some people who have been on it for like 20. And if you don't like it, well, you can leave, but we need other board members. Shannon and I both feel like we need to let fire at least hold a position or some kind of, because otherwise we're gonna lose those 3 probably.
So when you're at a scene where both of you are present, what's the hierarchy as far as?
So when we're at a scene, it depends on if fire is brought out. If fire's only brought out if it's on the interstate and they're for traffic control, or if we need lifeline to land or JAWS. But then EMS, fire first responders trumps fire at that call. Not all the time that works though, because there's some of the fire guys are stubborn and think it's their way or nothing.
Would it be fair to say that, so if we were fine with them rescinding that and if they were to just not be able to run for the president or vice, or are you just basically one position?
Just one position. Yeah, Shannon and I both have spoken, and Malmsted didn't really give us an answer, you know what I mean? But Shannon and I both think that as long as they're not president, you can't really make too many changes to the group if you're not the president. And we like it separate. One of the only ones that are separate, like fire and first responders are not together at all. It's one of the only groups that are like that, and it works out well for us. We would like to continue it, but we also would like to give them opportunities so it's not the same people. Because it's been the same people on the board for years. It's just we've been rotating.
You guys know what works for you and what doesn't, so if you wanted an motion, I'll make a motion that the first responders can have fire on their board, just not the president.
that would be
That would be
pretty
my
good with
motion.
Shannon and I at least, you know what I mean?
And the second.
Motion's been made and seconded to, allow firefighters on the EMS board, with the exclusion of being president. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Thank you guys. Thank you. I need to go get my daughter from breakfast.
The only other thing that I had on there was the, overtime report. I'm just curious, I know you guys have said that you were going to meet with supervisors. I noticed that we have a lot of unnecessary overtime, like a crazy amount this month that is, could have been scheduled differently. So did we talk to the supervisors before this overtime report came out?
Before it came out, yes. The only department that I think we're gonna have, any type of problem with is the water plant, because we just don't know when stuff is gonna happen.
Yeah,
You know,
I agree.
But I have asked them too, that if they do have, overtime, that if there's some days that they can, you know, they seeing things are late, to just take a short day or come in late or whatever. I guess I'll have to go back and talk to them again, because I see that there is, yes, a crazy amount of it on here.
Police, the office, the liquor store,
And the liquor store, I think the problem that we're running into there is just lack of help.
Right now, and I have 2 people that I'm gonna put forth to be approved to be hired. And that is the biggest thing, is because when it comes to overtime, and because all the people that I have for backup bartenders are nighttime, they can work 5 to close, 5 to close. So if anything happens daytime or the 3 to 10 or weekends, and we gotta cover it, or one of them call out, it's me and Jeff. And unfortunately, our 2 most expensive employees are the ones running the overtime, which I'm trying to stop. So the new gal that just trained today, that I'm hoping will approve today too, she can do nights, days, weekends. She's wide open as of right now. So that would be extremely helpful in hiring in the future. I'm gonna try to find people that can start, and it's gonna be hard because most people have a second job, but I'd like people that can start between 3 and 4. Because that's the other major issue, is we have to work, if we want to get there and get stuff done in the morning, we're getting in around at 8 o'clock, and then we're there till 5:30, 6 o'clock by the time we do side work, close out, and switch over the shift to the next person, because they're getting off their job and just getting there in time for us to come home. So if we could have a couple days a week where somebody can start at 3:30 or 4, so we can duck out at 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock, that would make all that come down to normal again. So that's my overall goal with that. But realistically, I think I need like 3 or 4 extra board people that can just be on call working a couple times a month. So, and it'll also help with some other disciplinary stuff that I need to do that I can't do what I want to do right now, because if I do, then me and Jeff are working more overtime. It's pretty hard to take shifts away from somebody when we got to pick up the 20 hours. And I don't think the board wants to see that money-wise. So I'm trying to get things in place there, and then we'll be able to do that.
Yeah, I'll sit down and talk to Karen again. Kelly, you know doing the scheduling? Okay, so I'll come and visit with you one morning and we'll go over that.
yeah, and you know my feelings on the bike rodeo. We talk about this every single year. It's overtime for a scheduled event that's on the calendar, and it's your event. You go around and solicit donations. And then we still get 7 hours of overtime we're paying for it. Like, I can't wrap my head around that. So we talk about it every year. So I just thought I might as well bring it up, since we bring it up every year.
Yep, schedule events, anything that's, about ahead of time, it's hard to pay overtime for, so. And that's something the council can rule on. If it's a scheduled event, and if the clerks know about it, if I know about it, the city guys know they have something coming up, then they can take time off and cover it that way.
Right,
I think
so,
for all employees, that'd be great.
I mean, this is really more of a personnel thing, so maybe you could talk about that. I don't wanna get anyone in a jam over saying something that we shouldn't in a public meeting.
Yes, we most certainly will.
Thank you. I guess with those comments, I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda with the bills of $501,732.68.
Motion has been made and seconded to approve the consent agenda and paying bills of $501,732.68. All in favor, say aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. And then staff and board reports. Any questions on any of those that we need to be looking at? I know we'll talk to Troy here in just a second.
This one is the least.
Yep, okay.
Mayor,
Yes, sir.
are you going down, you said you're going right down to board reports now?
I will be in just 1 second here.
Okay.
Yes.
Do you need anything from police then?
Yes.
No.
You had turned in a quote to, Angela for fixing of the fence.
Yes.
The
The quote has increased
yes,
because they cannot reuse the posts that were pulled out prior.
okay. Back in May, we made a motion to approve it for the original $2,000. And it has increased, to $39,6506. I do believe that there's money in the forfeiture and the outlay account to cover that. I believe. And I know you asked for some figures, and I know you haven't got them.
Well, I know that, Chief O'Brien mentioned that the city was supposed to cover some of that too, so not just all of it.
I was gonna say, I'll have to go back and double check me. But do we want to amend that motion to increase this to,
I'll make the motion to, go up to the new quote of what is presented to us in our packet.
I'll second it.
motion has been made and seconded to amend the motion from May and change the dollar figure from 2,000 to 39,6506. All in favor, say aye. Same, opposed, same sign. Motion carries. And is there anything you want to touch on, Phil?
Chief O'Brien said you were interested in all the crosswalk information.
Yes.
Steve from Douglas County Public Works is currently on vacation and unavailable to provide that information at this time. So it will be another 5-6 days to be here for you. And then National Night Out, we have a proposed date of August 13th, the second Wednesday.
Now, is this the same as the actual national night
It
out?
is the day after,
Okay,
because we want to be able to involve Douglas and Todd County Sheriff's Departments as well. So we have the day after, and it's been working well for us. Last year, we included it with the beach party. We are, we should not be sure counting on them. So we did it in 2023, it was a good turnout, so if we can do it again in 2025. I've talked to Shannon and the Fire Chief Craig Dropick, and we're all they've agreed to help me fumble my way through it. So I think if that date is okay with you guys, we'll go ahead with that.
is it normally start at 5?
5 to 7, yes.
Right in the park.
Yes, it'll be at Osakis.
Fantastic.
Yeah, as soon as you get the crosswalk information, just send it to Angela or me or both of us. Thank you. Troy?
Yeah.
You're up.
So just some notes, if we want to start with, I would like to ask the council for a motion and a second to hire and approve Abby Olenkamp as one of the new bar staff. She did train today and did a really good job. So we hired her or started her tentatively on your guys' approval.
And all the background stuff, so she is a hire.
Yep, she can, with everything came through, we were able to hire, and I know you have a little bit more on that, and I'm happy to sit down with anybody that has questions on the conversation I had with her after all that to get some answers and some stuff, so.
And what wage are we starting for now?
It'll be the standard, I believe, is $13.25. That'll, unless I'm bringing somebody in that's extremely experienced, that's where we're gonna start at, because they get tips on top of that, so. I think that's competitive enough to bring them in with where we're at. And then, so, yeah, just approval on that, and then also, a tentative approval on background check, and she's taking her drug test tomorrow for Jolene Thole. I'm hiring her to cover the Fridays and the Saturdays she can for cleaning crew, with the ability, she has no bartending experience. So I'd like to slow train her as a potential for backup bartender to be an on-call person. Wacosa did start this week. I did the amendments that you talked about, Stephanie, we took Tuesdays off, so they're only gonna do one Tuesday a month, and that'll be a deep clean, where like doing some of the brass, making sure all the flats are cleaned down, all the windows are done. But they've been coming in every day doing all the windows, doing the windows on the beer coolers, mopping, sweeping, and they're in and out in about 2 hours. So they've been doing it. They'll do every Monday except for that Tuesday when they do the deep clean. Then they'll just come that Tuesday and do both sessions, and they'll come a little earlier. And then they're every other Friday. So then I'm responsible on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and other staff for making sure stuff looks good and is cleaned. And then what I'm going to try to do, work with Jolene, is if she can work out the other Friday when Wacosa doesn't come. If she can't do that Friday, then I'll take it, and vice versa with Saturdays and stuff too. So then we're getting a really good clean after the weekend going into the week. So that is going on there. That'll save some money on not doing the back-to-back Monday, Tuesday, which I understand why do 2 super cleans like that back-to-back, which made sense. So that would be the only other motion on that. We had talked a while ago about getting the cameras replaced out there and staying with Arvik here. And I had lost communication, didn't know what was going on there. I found out after going back around and leaving a bunch of messages and sending out emails that Eric, who I talked with, is no longer with them. And that's why that fell through. So they're going to send somebody back out this week, potentially, or first thing next week, Monday, to come back and redo his bid unless they can find it, because they don't know where his bid went when he came out and did all that once already. So hopefully we can get that sent through. Tomorrow I will be sending over the data of our inventory for both the off-sale and on-sale to Cloud Retailer and Shift4, so we can, now that we're through the 4th of July, we can start migrating that to the new system, where we will get better reporting, save a bunch of time. Lynette will be able to log into the system. Angela will be able to log into the system. I can log into the system if we want to have another login, even for you, Judy, to be able to go in and check stuff. It's all cloud-based. Everything's going to be there. When something comes from the off-sale side to the on-sale side, they're actually going to be scanning in a report, because we're going to set them up as a customer. It will be a little more complicated because it is not, I shouldn't say complicated. There's 2 systems, but that is the best way to do it. Everything with a single system, the inventory just doesn't move, populate properly, and you're always going to have issues. So I think this is the best way to fix it, is to go to 2. All the systems are essentially paid for. We're going to get both systems in place for under $4,000. And then all the equipment and everything is paid for based off of a 1.7% increase to our credit card revenue. And we're going to have a cash price and a credit card price on both sides. And the customers be aware of that. On the ticket, when you're on the liquor store, they actually have a screen facing the customer that shows that too. So they have the option to choose how they want to pay. I'm going to put it up on the door and then let the bartender staff know when anybody's paying for a card, to let them know, hey, starting on this date, just so you're aware, there's gonna be a cash price and a credit card price. And like I said, Alex doing it already. They love this system. They have the same thing in place. Jamie over at the VFW, she's using Shift 4, which is on the bar, what we're bringing in on the bar side. I went over and checked the interface there, asked her what she thought about it. She really liked it. And for $19 a month, we can get an inventory on that side too if we want. That'll do reporting on the ounces of bottles. So that'll get all that stuff in place. I also filled out the information to register us with the state to be a location for the THC drinks and gummy sales. I had to get that link and go in and fill that out. Just to touch on why inventory increased for the end of June is because of where we're set up. I have vendors that come in every 2 weeks. They don't come in every week like big stores get. And because of where Osakis Day fell and then where the 4th of July was falling this year, I had 3 vendors that I wouldn't have seen until after the 4th of July. So I literally had to try to gauge what we needed for that whole time frame. So we'll have a little less the first couple weeks here in July on inventory because we'll be carrying that over. But we went through that holiday with very minimal outs, which I'm happy about because we were really busy. And then just touch on the pull tab revenue stuff on that too. It's a month behind where we put everything in place. So as we talked before, so now with June and definitely all of July, we have, after talking with Judy, we got it set up. Jeff put together an Excel sheet where we're actually tracking everything. And now I'm also getting a report prior to the end of the month from the Nelson Gaming Commission. And then with bringing a couple more employees back in, I'm hoping I can go back to the months where we were on with everything when I was the only one counting boxes. So that's my goal on that too, because that's something else I'm looking at with the accuracy. Just because we count it, we send it in, and there might have been a mistake, like a couple of cards weren't counted, so that's a $4 mistake. Or we thought we had 8 $12 tickets and there was 7 in there. So now we're short $12. And we weren't finding that out because they wouldn't find out until the Nelson Gaming Committee did their audit. So once they did the audit, they'd make the adjustment, but we never saw that adjustment. So we're over here tracking it, thinking that we were fine. Now I'll actually see that before we close the month out. So I can make audits on there if I have to. So in case in point, if you look at the money for May, I have that money. It could have been put in there, but because we didn't know it was missing, I couldn't put it in there. So we'll be the next 2 months for June and July, we'll be increasing that back up. So we should be a lot closer to that under $100 for being wrong. But on the flip side, just to put this out there I thought it'd be interesting for you guys to also know, we sold 24,720 tickets, or we had to hand count 24,720 tickets from the Thursday, the 3rd to the 6th.
Yeah.
So when you start looking at that too, like, okay, that's a lot of tickets to go through when you start talking about the margins and stuff on it. But that's also where having all these extra places and having one person as much as possible do the boxes so that, I think it's going to limit and get back to where we were at in, it would be January and March and April, where our numbers were where I wanted to be. I'm also going to try to get the ETAB system in before Nelson Gaming will approve that. I have to put a new policy in place. And I have to get all the bartenders to sign it. So I need to write a policy up this week. That's my plan for that too. And then we'll revisit bringing that in. And that will eliminate some of the stuff too, because we can actually, when stuff is missing, they have to log. Right now, there's no logging in or logging out into a shift to know what you sold. And on that computer system, it tells you at the end, this is how many they sold. These are the boxes they were sold out of. So we'd have a lot more accountability per shift to who might be making mistakes so we can correct the errors on that. That is an expensive system, so I feel like we're getting a little pushback on it. Like, well, it's going to slow you. And I want the council to be well aware. It will potentially slow down the sale of tickets, and that can affect our revenue. But I think we're talking not thousands, we're talking 500s or hundreds of dollars in the long run. But we also should have a more accurate count when we're coming to the total revenue we're getting off those boxes too.
So these ETABs, would they also be through the Nelsons?
Correct.
Perfect.
Everything's through there, but Nelson Gaming is the one that purchases the computer system in which, so it goes from having to scan cards to you actually take pictures of people's IDs. You're taking a picture of the actual tab. So we've had in the past where I don't know how, but the paperwork and the ticket stapled to the paperwork was missing. So when that's gone, if it was a $200 ticket, we're just out $200. Now that would be documented, it was either not taken on that shift or it was taken on that shift. And if it got lost in the meantime, at least we have that record instead of nothing.
Gotcha.
Last thing, mostly on my list, other than the conversation about approval for the new staff, is the parking lot. Mark Lee finally sent somebody out from their company to get a second bid. They came out, took measurements. I was supposed to see that tomorrow, between tomorrow or Wednesday. So I'll let you know when that comes through, even if they get it to me by the end of the week. I think we're at a point now where it's probably going to be next spring with the top coat next fall. But at least we can get a price in place, have a good idea of where we're going to be at and plan for 2026 getting that done. And Todd County is still aware of and willing to be bringing in the new culverts and reditching the system for us there. What saves a bunch of money there. I did have our cooler broke, freezer over the 4th. It was relatively old, but people slamming it down took out the hinges and then all the insulation from the inside fell into the ice. So that's now sitting out front with a free sign on it, and I'll look into getting rid of it if somebody doesn't grab it. It's not something we can fix. I pulled the small freezer from the back. I'm hoping we can make that one through winter and then order a new glass door freezer in the spring. If that doesn't work, if we're constantly running out of ice, then I might have to come back to the council and look at something. But when I was looking at it before, it's like a $4,000 purchase, so nothing too crazy. And that would be the last thing on my list, unless you guys have any questions for me.
I think you covered all the bases that I had.
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
Did you guys were
Motion.
talking about, did you have any issues with?
No.
Okay. I'll make a motion to hire Abby Camp and Jolie Knoll.
So, thank you.
I will second those.
Motion is made and seconded to hire Abby Olenkamp and Jolene Dole for the liquor store. All in favor say aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Thank you, council.
Garrett has gotten some, from the water company, has gotten some quotes from NBC Drainage, to clean out ditches. 3 different locations, Queen Street, Levine's, 2 different sections. He would like to move forward with Queen Street, which has a cost of $9,500. And he has the money in his street department fund.
Motion to approve the bid on Queen Street for $9,500.
Motion is made and seconded to approve clean out Queen Street ditch for $9,500. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. And I'll have to talk to him because he did not make any notes in here about the Levine, so I'll have to talk to him about that.
I did see in something else that we're talking about, he was getting the bid from Punky too, so I
Oh,
wonder what,
and
I'm
then-
wondering if that's maybe
yeah.
why. I
And
mean,
it could be, because I know we do have
a separate sheet on that, yep.
also back in February, we made a motion for, to allow him to get a 30-foot lift trailer. He now needs a 50-foot lift, versus the 30-foot. So he is asking for approval, on the purchase of the 50-foot lift.
I see in the notes here, he said this can be taken out of his equipment
Yeah.
fund, which he has funds in there for it, so I will make a motion to approve that 50-foot lift.
I will second those one.
Motion is made and seconded to approve purchase of 50-foot lift from Center Rental for $51,574. All in favor say aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Now, we did make a motion on the 30-foot lift back in February. Do we want to rescind that motion and get it off the books?
I will make a motion to rescind the approval of the 30-foot lift. Second.
Motion has been made and seconded to rescind the February motion for the purchase of a 30-foot lift. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Water plant, we have a few bills to look at here for Eagle and Nero Engineering, also a change order. Project update, project is nearing completion, the new filter system startup is scheduled to begin on July 22nd. The startup will mean filtered water will need to be wasted to the new to the sewer until all filters are fully acclimated and ready to put into service. The acclimation period should take as little as a week. If using our pilot media really works well, or 3 to 4 weeks if pilot media can fail.
Do you want these then three separate motions?
Yes,
Yep.
please.
Okay. Motion to approve Eagle Construction number 18 for 26,394.74.
I will second.
Motion is made and seconded to approve Eagle Construction Bill number 18 for $26,394.74. All in favor say aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Make a motion to approve the Nero Engineering at 6,124.80.
I'll second. Sorry.
Motion is made and seconded to approve Nero Engineering for $6,124.80. All in favor say aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
On the roll, we'll do the, approve the change order number 3 for 9,058.74.
Motion is made and seconded to approve change order number 3 in the amount of $9,058.74. All in favor say aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. And then just an update on the main lift station. Angela feels it's going to be pretty hard for us to find the funding for that due to buyer requirements, project approval and review. Thinking that with the amount of funding, we may need to look at financing that through MRWA. We as council do not have to do anything at this point. Just wondering if we have any concern about that process. I'm fine with it if you guys are. I was gonna say, yeah, we'll be coming back to that. Beautification team, hello.
Okay, so in the packet, there should be a picture of each type, right? And then a drawing that Matt made like this. And that would be a pavilion that we would like to put down at the beach. We want to put it, at the corner of the parking lot where we have that pergola down there. And the reason for that is because if someday this gets paved here, it would go right up to here, and our handicap space would be right here by the structure, so it would be easy for somebody in a wheelchair, because anytime you do that, you have to do a path to, so if you put on the other side, we're gonna have to do a big long path. I did run this past Darren, and he was fine with it. The beautification team would pay for everything. We would like there to be one-time outlets, because we'd like to put a shelf in there, so people could do like little get-togethers down there, or whatever, clubbing, crops, whatever. And then the guys did put a grill up by the seating area, but we'd like to put another one of those grills down by this area, and then put in 2 vending machines, an ice cream machine and a pop machine down there. The map has here in close corner, that would be the one part of the wall that would be like a taller wall. I I didn't get bids because the contractor that I was talking to doesn't have his license yet, so I wanted to talk to Angela more about that. But first I kind of wanted to see if it was fine with the council.
I think it sounds great.
I do too.
Absolutely.
Well, I talked with Darren about going through and making sure, obviously, like where the electrical is at, and he said that he'd help with that. And then I'll work on getting bids for building it and doing the electrical. And then, we would also like to plant a couple ornamental trees here on the road, I guess. I asked Darren about that and he didn't say yes or no. If he's waiting to hear about what kind of trees. I just thought it'd be nice to have a couple of, like a cherry blossom tree or whatever down in that area, and then we wanted to put in, horseshoe pits. So
Okay, yeah,
my.
Yeah.
So it would be up by this big
Okay,
tree,
okay.
up in that area, it's a little bit of shade, so we would like to put them up there. As long as, all is like making sure that nothing is in the city cruise, like they have that lift station there, so we won't put anything in their area. So that's what we are proposing, if you guys are fine, and then I can come back next month with new numbers and hopefully at a time when we think we can have them there.
Awesome.
We had a beach party down there after the parade this year, and that seemed to go over really well. We had Andy's food truck in here, and Money Hunt and also and things like that, so that went really well. Every year there seems to be more. And then Laura from the chamber came on and did a ribbon cutting down there, so that was nice.
Yeah.
I think that was it, unless you guys have any questions for me.
We had talked when you came in, you know, like, because you're pouring concrete and stuff, would that
Need
require
a-
a permit?
Yeah, zoning permit.
So,
I will
I'll have to fill more paperwork, but
Yeah.
it is paperwork.
So I will try to come in and talk to Angela when she is here next week, and yeah, I'll bring them all next month. And you guys don't have any problems with the horseshoe pits? You good? None of that? Okay. Perfect, thank you.
Thank you. City of Osakis received notice of award of the 2026 outdoor recreation grant, $350,000 for park flagging. And that's great news, and big thanks to all who worked to put the project together and apply for this grant. It will really help with what we have planned to do down at the park. And I think it will be very, very, very well accepted. I think people will really like it. New banners have been put up. And thus far, they're holding up pretty well. I think they look nice. And the parks board, and I know they brought it to us too, that we're moving forward on the bike share program that will be located down by Central Park. And that should happen latter part of July, first part of August. And the mural has started to be painted on John and Laura Max's building, and I think it's looking very, very nice. So all we need to do is approve the minutes for Parks Committee.
And make a motion to approve the minutes of the June 16th Parks Committee. Second.
Motion is made and seconded to approve minutes for the June 16th, 2025 Parks Committee meeting. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Planning and zoning, looks like we got a pretty busy meeting there.
It was.
Stephanie.
Very fun, very fun meeting. Yeah, so there were two items that we really had to talk about during our open floor. One was approval of short-term rental. On East Lake Street. Well, that's not the East Lake Street.
That's not the right address.
Yeah, it is. Yep, Janet
Oh,
Steinbacher.
yes, it is, yes. I'm so sorry, I had them mixed up because they were different in order. Yes,
Yep.
so Janet's, they have 4 units inside of the old, Idlewild. And so we approved it on ours to bring it up to the council to approve her for her 4 units as the short-term rental. And then, we also talked about an accessory shed down on First Avenue West, and everything met the qualifications for that, so finance only was up to line with that as well.
So we have a couple of resolutions here to look at.
Also based on, planning and zoning recommendation, I'll make a motion for resolution 2025-17 to approve the short-term rental for 811 Lake Street East.
And a second.
Motion has been made and seconded to pass resolution 2025-17 to approve short-term rental for 811 Lake Street East. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
And I will make a motion to approve the 2025-18 accessory structure for 804 First Avenue West.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded to approve resolution 2025-18 to approve detached accessory structure at 804 First Avenue West. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Do we also need to approve our minutes?
Yes.
Okay, so I'll make a motion to approve the planning and zoning minutes from June 26th meeting.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded to approve minutes for planning and zoning meeting of June 26, 2025. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Chad Wilberson, is out on family medical leave. Oh, how come I missed that every time? I am so sorry.
Just in case anyone's itching.
I normally put a big highlighter on the last thing before open floor so that I don't forget. I didn't do it.
It's up.
I will open the floor to anyone who has anything they would like to bring before the council for our consideration. Yes, Ms. Tanya.
Hi, Danielson. We have the circus coming next Tuesday, the 22nd. We'll hope to see people there. If you see anybody, spread the word. I found out later on that Lone Prairie has also the circus coming into town. So the night before,
Oh, shoot.
yeah,
Same one, the same one?
yeah. But they're not really pushing it much, so I'm hoping that we can get the word out. We've already got flyers in Lone Prairie, so we've been busy putting them out. Skeeter the Clown was in town today, stopped and visited more. She went to the school and made rounds around town. But spread the word, help us spread the word. I'm gonna post a bunch on Facebook tonight, but.
And the chief made it sound like they're going to be doing a free, you can come and see the behind the scenes
Yeah.
and watch them put the big.
Approximately 9:30, they're gonna text me and let me know a little bit closer to what time that will be once they get more in our area, probably the day before. But approximately 9:30, they'll do a raising of the tent, and they want families and kids, whoever, to go and watch that. Hopefully some people from the Galleon, they thought maybe they would bring a bus down there as well. So they're gonna raise the tent, and then they will do a kind of a show of how the background of the circus works, how the animals are taken care of, how the setup of everything goes, and answer questions for the kids. And and that's all completely free. So she was handing out color contest pages today, and all the kids have to do is bring the color contest into each program. 2 kids get picked each night, and they win something there. But we've never had it in town. This is kind of a big deal. It's not just a fly-by-night outfit that shows up and calls themselves a circus. It's the tent and everything. It's kind of a big deal. So hopefully
And
it's
is it
gonna
gonna be just one ring then, or is it gonna be multiple?
it sounds like it's just like one big area, the tent goes up and it's just one big show in the center, is what it sounds like. I've never seen it, but talking to them, it sounds fun. It'll be fun for town people. But I do have a question, when the manager of the Muni brought up the THC and the gummy sales at the Muni, is that something that is happening in town now? There's an ordinance on that now?
Mhm.
Okay, so all the bars are gonna be probably offering that? And is there some sort of a, like, maybe Cal, what's your plan? Because Saturday night, as much fun as that was, my God, did it smell like pot out there. And I know that, I'm not saying this anything, like it's, you have control over it, but, I walked out of the salon, went and ordered food at AJ's, and there was a guy sitting in the front seat of his vehicle smoking pot. Well, you didn't see it, but it covered the entire street. And I mean, I'm pretty certain that if I was down there and I'm smoking or drinking an Ultra in the front seat of my car, I'm gonna get a ticket.
We get one ticket.
And I feel like they should be getting ticketed, right?
Oh, yeah.
And I, just last week, again, outside the post office, I mean, I walked past a red pickup truck and it was like billowing of pot.
Would be.
What is the
I
plan?
would love a phone call. Well, because it's just much like, oh, we have to see it, know what's happening for us to do anything about it.
So if you walk by a vehicle, I'm just asking because I have no idea.
Yeah.
You walk by a vehicle and it smells like pot, you can, that's
Well,
enough
So
to,
marijuana is legal, right? So you can drink a beer in your car as long as the keys are within your possession. So if you throw your keys underneath your car, and you sit in your car and have a beer, not much I can do about it, as long as it's not on a public street. If it's on a
Right.
public street, then it's a whole different thing. But, so if I see it happening, yeah, you can't have marijuana in your possession, smoking it in public here in town. You can't
Okay.
be walking on the street, puffing on it.
okay. So like down at the street dance?
Yeah.
Because nobody saw anybody,
There was some
Smoking it?
people I talked to, and I told them they need to leave, and they left.
oh,
So, and they walked away. They walked down toward the pubs.
oh. I know I missed a couple meetings, so I must have missed that ordinance.
Was it last month that we did that?
Yeah. I mean, I know it's to come, but holy crap.
Yeah. We're not real thrilled either. We were hoping we wouldn't have to deal with it. Because there's only, as far as retail, only 3 locations in Douglas County, I believe it is. Because it goes by population.
Correct.
For dispensaries,
Yes.
yeah.
So we're hoping that Ally gets them all. I mean, we're open to it. That's why we have the ordinance in place.
So if they have a tobacco sales, does that cover them selling the gummies? Or how does that work? I mean, any bar can sell it? Or any boutique could sell it?
I was gonna say that Cal helped me out here
That's a
too.
good question. I'm gonna look it up now.
I think you for sure have to apply for a license for
Yes,
it.
it's just like Troy said, he had to apply for it. But now, doing it in the bar is different than operating a dispensary. So, yeah, I do believe any bar can probably do it. But as far as a retail dispensary, they have to, but like I say, there's only 3 of those in Douglas County.
I don't think she's asking about a dispensary per
No.
se. I think she's talking about
Yeah,
the
the
bars,
Purchasing.
gas stations.
I was gonna say, but how
Mhm.
long have the gas stations had? You know, I think a lot of the gas stations have some type of THC.
See, I just thought it was the THC that was approved by it's like the fake fireworks. That's what I thought it was. I don't know, but That's what I thought it was, is that it was just like the, whatever,
Yeah.
you could take a drug test and still pass a drug test.
You're not talking about THC, you're talking about the other stuff, the lower.
Hemp or
No,
whatever, yeah.
that's the fake stuff, yeah, CBD.
Yeah.
Oh,
And that's what the gas station was selling, right?
That's what they were
So
saying.
the THC is now, like Brothers could be selling THC right now.
Yeah, if they all get an authorized retail license, they can, as long as the city has allowed it.
And then what's the plan with like the drinks? Because there wasn't a law that they could have no more than 3 drinks and of those THC drinks, and then they could not order any other alcohol before or after. What's gonna be the plan with monitoring that if, say, the barn and the muni both are selling it? How are they gonna monitor that person just goes from the muni over to the barn?
Right, they won't be able to. I mean,
No.
each establishment is going to have to be maybe trained a little differently and made aware of maybe signs to look for, get some education on it, but maybe just some questions to ask, but that's really,
But does our law enforcement have a plan? Like, you got a plan if I'm driving, my
Well-
truck's parked out here and I, 4 ultras.
We've always had a plan for that, it's anything with, so there's DUI, driving under the influence, that covers marijuana. So
So if you blow in a thing like
No.
you do for
they don't have those, they're not public key.
Colorado has something,
Yeah, Minnesota hasn't allowed it yet.
so what are you supposed to do?
Well, what we do now is we run through the tests that we have that have been proven to show impairment. And then we take them to the jail and we read them their rights, and then we make them pee into a cup or give blood, and then 6-7 months later, their license is revoked by the grace of God.
As long as there's a plan.
It's not a great plan, but
We gotta start open.
Well, and I know a lot in planning and zoning, because that's truly where the ordinance came from. And the gentleman from Sourcewell would be the one to tell you for sure. He has done countless classes, everything like that, that really go through it. But if I remember correctly, and correct me if I'm wrong with it, I thought they could only have so many per county. So depending on if those licenses came out of Alec.
But that's the higher stuff, the more potent
Yeah.
things. Like, I think the gas stations could sell the gummies and,
I feel
As
like
long as
that's
they
where, that's
register.
where I'm going. I'm wondering how many places are gonna be selling those types of things, because that's not considered dispensary. There has to be some other license that you would get, whether you have to carry a liquor license or tobacco license or something. There has to be
Yeah.
another license to have.
I believe it's like a tobacco license, but it's through the state of Minnesota. Is what they have to apply for, not the city with those type of things. If somebody wants to come in with a retail
Is there
store.
another bar in town that even offers tobacco? The VF?
yeah, we sell them.
So the VF could potentially maybe get,
But there's no way it's
Gummies.
gonna happen, but yeah, we could. I mean, we're eligible, but I probably would not. It's just it's not a thing that, it's bad enough we sell alcohol. It's a drug, so.
that's it.
we'll learn as we go.
See you at the circus.
yes, and you can buy tickets in advance too, correct?
Yep, Laura and I are both selling tickets in advance. We'll meet you in the dark alley after, sell you tickets. You meet me anytime. We sold a few advance tickets, so hopefully get a crowd.
I was gonna say, you get a week,
Yeah,
so.
and Tom has kind of proven to be a last minute decision maker, so. Fingers crossed. Over at the Panther Distillery
sure.
lot.
Yeah.
Yep. Adrian's been more than generous to us.
Anything else for open forum? Then we will move on to, old business. And I do think we can do this in open meeting, otherwise, and we'll do it with open. Do you agree, Stephanie?
Yes, I think it was just more a conversation, as long as we're not like going in
Yeah,
detail of
yeah,
items,
yeah.
that we're okay.
With that being said, with Chad being out on family medical leave, for 12 weeks, Cal has,
Graciously.
there you go, thank you very much. Has graciously taken the reins for us, the responsibilities of Chad's, position. He has requested additional compensation for this time, which I feel is not unjust. All we have to do is decide what we would like to do there.
What, will be some of the additional duties?
You know, Chad is not allowed to do anything right now.
So if I remember
So-
correctly, you are basically stepping up into Chad's role. Brandon is staying where he is at, and who is the third one?
Our part-time officer, Austin Becker,
Thank you.
has agreed to step in full-time and take over my days, my weekend evening shifts that I would normally do.
So like you're doing the schedule and then you're doing like the payroll approvals and
Communicating with, all the agencies that need all the numbers that we do every week, and so all that happy paperwork that I used to tease Chad about.
I would think with a wage increase, maybe we should have a whole council.
And I would be fine with that, as long as, Cal, you know that it probably won't be out till next month when we get to be back.
And that's another thing I would like to request, that to start at July, the pay period for July 3rd.
Yes,
when it starts?
yeah.
Would that be fair?
Yeah, that'd be fine.
Thank you.
But yeah, and that's fine, if we can just move this until, the August meeting. All right? Levine's Lakeview Drive, Darren has gotten some, quotes from MBC Drainage, on drainage and ditching in 2 sections. And he, has reached out to Punky Devier, who has not gotten back to him yet, which is what we are waiting on there.
So if I look, so one of the bids was 7,050 and the other one was 15,900.
yeah.
So I think that
And I
would be that we should get another bid.
Yeah.
from you, just
And I know that he's got maps in there too of the sections on Levine's, that, fall in with those. So hopefully Hunt will get back to him here, and I'll touch base with him on that too. Being able to talk to him.
Is that both,
Go ahead.
is that both, just for like, sitting in culverts, or what is pumpy, or is that for the,
Let's see if I
these
can,
boy, you know?
let's see if I can figure out from his,
Cause we did, like, just last Thursday, got 3/4 inch of rain again in that area, which was so weird, because in other areas, they hardly got any. And so the water, that's what I like to do, is walk around to see how much water is sitting around again.
All right, so the 7,050. I was gonna say, doesn't really, go over it. This might just be easier for you, because you're gonna know these aerial shots much better than I will. It doesn't give like where, but it's clean removed, so it would be this blue to that 12 inch in and out. And this is the $7,000 one.
This is over by Chris, so over here is, Checker's over here. So this is, so yeah, no, this is the empty lot that no one lives, so it goes from there onto the side, the very back of theirs, and this is. It goes that area, okay.
This one is a little bit more in depth, where it will come from both of them and then cut.
Yeah, this is a very bad spot right there, where the water sits and right in front of theirs, so, okay. And so this is where they're looking, and you say, okay, to get the water flow,
Okay.
that would be good, yes. Okay.
Perfect. So that is what we have the bids on so far. We're just waiting to hear from Cooking as well.
Okay.
Paula, can you tell me, refresh my memory, when you initially started this and you said that, what township was it? That was
Gordon Township.
Gordon.
And that's on the 8th Avenue.
Yep.
Yep, that's Gordon Township right across from where like Bonnie Mart Ferris and that's Gordon
I just-
Township.
I think with these bids coming in so high, there's no reason why, if they were going to contribute to the paving, I think we should reach out to them and, I mean, that's just, that got denied at this point, but I don't see why we can't reach out to them for, if they were gonna do some
For
paving.
some over, because were we looking at something on 8th Avenue then too, as far as drainage or? Because that's where the Gordon Township, and then it kind of in the back by the Levine, and Gordon Township cuts off, so they don't go way back there.
Well, I think we can send communication to,
I'll make a note for Angela to review.
It's a point of clarification, the 7,000, is that just a gravel or what is that?
No, it's cleaning the ditch and drainage.
Okay, so it's no materials, it's just, okay.
Other than anything that they have to dig up would be, how would it say, it would be taken care of. I mean, the landscaping would be done after the project was completed.
And that was NBC drainage.
Yeah, NBC, we've got that one, we're waiting on Punky for
Okay.
this. Snow removal ordinance. The snow removal ordinance that I moved to committee, we've come back with, or we're coming to the council with, we would like to reinstate the previous snow removal ordinance, which basically covers the downtown area and the school. We would like to add in Main Street from County Road 3 to Second Avenue because of the density. More foot traffic there. So we would like to add that in, but we will go back to an administrative citation. We will also be changing the 72 hours to 24 hours. Along with that, we were looking at some other cities and what they do for their snow removal. We plan on putting together a flyer regarding this, reaching out to see if there are any volunteers. Justin is going to put it forward before his senior class. If there be any organization that would maybe like to earn a few bucks, that some of these residents who don't want to do it could hire the high school, or we suggested too that maybe if we find people that are willing to do that type of stuff, put that on the flyer, people they can contact if they don't want to be doing their own. Also, if they want, Garen is not opposed to putting on the flyer also to supply free salt sand if needed. And we're not talking about buckets load, we're talking about maybe a 5-gallon bucket. But anything that would maybe help the residents keep the downtown clean and the school area safe for the kids.
I think it sounds great.
And this we're looking to adopt in August, what I'm seeing, right?
Yes. Yeah. Yes, I would say, and we'll have to probably make a motion on this, but we can wait for full council on that too, in case Tim or Randy have any questions on it.
Okay, well, Tim was on your committee, right?
Yes,
Okay.
although he couldn't make it to the last meeting that we had, so. Oh yeah, we'll move that to, I hope in a couple months before snow.
Grace should be okay. Yeah, never know.
I received a phone call, from a resident, business owner, regarding bicycles, scooters, electric, of both, as far as riding a bike on the sidewalks, and scooters on the sidewalks. Angela did pull out the, ordinance that we have. And, it works, I mean, they can't do it according to this ordinance, but I think that we need to address where. Because it looks like we've got Central and Main basically. But what about as I'm reading this, I don't see that it covers the avenues going this way. All I see is Central going this way and then Main going east and west, but none of the side streets. And that's what I got the call from, is one of the side streets. But they just drive too close to the buildings. And this business owner is concerned that he's gonna open the door one day and take out a kid. So I don't know what we can do if there's, if we just on social media, if we try just to push the issue. He also mentioned too that we used to have signs that we had up. Do you recall us having signs up for that?
All I know is that the ordinance is for the main business area because people on the sidewalks. Right? And that's why that was no kids on the bikes there, skateboarding, that sort of thing. The only other place that's posted is in the Catholic Church.
Well, there used to be signs, and the property owner is me and Howie. Because we've stepped out our door and there's this electric bike thing this kid is on, and he's like zooming like 6 inches from your door, and we could get easily kind of wiped out. So, but before the construction and all the downtown work, there used to be signs. But they're always,
I do see it a lot.
Yeah,
when all
I'm
of a
sure you-
sudden I've had a couple customers walk out and
mhm,
like 30 seconds difference and they would have,
and
yeah,
hit.
on
Mhm,
there's some electric scooters
Mhm.
and some,
yeah, there's
couple different things.
one, and he goes pretty fast, and I think
got
the police have been talked to him, but
We've had some come to Jesus moments with quite a few kids and their parents. Because not only are they riding on the sidewalks, but they're down the middle of the streets doing this, and you can't fix ignorance like that. All you do is keep yelling at them, and we're trying. And Howie's done his part, yelling at that kid and maybe hitting with the doors what the kid needs. Like, I'm not gonna say that's the right answer. Just, yeah, unfortunately, talking is only going so far.
Is it something, do we put, like you had suggested, put something on social media, just a friendly reminder, now during this busy time downtown?
I was gonna say, we could probably try, honestly, in my opinion, I don't think there should be any bikes or of any sort on Central Avenue at all. Because
Sidewalks, you're saying.
sidewalks are down the street. You know, I hate to have a kid coming down the street and somebody backs out.
Just see how many people drive down that road the wrong way.
Oh, I know, I know,
It's crazy.
I know. I know.
It's every day, but it's a
Very sad.
dozen times a day. And then you'll get up here and they're like,
There's no stop sign? Are you pulling on anything?
But yeah, you know, and maybe we have to look at adjusting our ordinance too. But yeah, I mean, in reality, if you don't want them on the sidewalk, well, I really don't want them on the street on Central Avenue either. Between the 82 in Maine anyway.
I would caution you on that, just because we do have a lot of people that use the data trail. And they come out and they come around, they cruise around town, tip top and stuff, and they come back. And if we start restricting those streets, I think putting it on social media would be a very good start.
There are a lot of bikes that park outside of the coffee shop, I will say that, I've seen a lot of bikes parked out there.
And those are very respectful.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Mhm.
Well, and then we were talking about the couple people that end up wrecking it
Mhm.
for everyone, but yeah, maybe.
So is there not a fine that you can give the parents?
Not unless they knowingly let their kid endanger themselves by playing in the street over and over again. And then you could tack on something, but no, not just.
Are there any signs up downtown then? For,
I've seen nothing
Yeah,
about
I think
biking.
there is.
We talked about it during the bike rodeo as part of the safety chat is, hey, stay off the sidewalks. Stay, if you're on the street, stay close to the edge of the road, ride with traffic, and that's a whole nother issue. People don't like riding with traffic, because they can't see what's behind them.
Can you add any notes to a water bill?
mhm.
Maybe
We
on
can.
that, or maybe the paper would be better. I'm just
Mhm.
saying on the chamber side, social media is not the way, it's not number one. People
Well-
don't just have time to scroll on Facebook anymore.
And you're gonna get into arguments on there too.
And they don't, and they just don't, it's not the most
Mhm.
effective way to advertise anymore.
I was gonna say, Angela and I did discuss this a little bit, and we got maybe putting something in the newspaper too. Because we just had a water main break, down on Fifth and Main. And one of the residents called me asking me questions about how that all works. She says, and maybe put out some information there too. She mentioned the newspaper also. So maybe we could do something in the newspaper about bike safety and.
Maybe there could be a Q&A section just for the city hall, like just things that you could put in as the
Yeah.
mayor, a little write-up, and this month particular, it could be
Well,
a reminder of bikes and safety and
I was gonna say, we just,
kids' school, starting school coming up, like it could be,
Mhm.
Angela and I did talk about too, that if anybody goes to our website, if there's anything that we can put a pop-up, about, especially like the water main breaks.
right,
Should something like that happen in town and they go to the website, it would automatically just pop up, saying, water main broke here, this is what we're looking at, that kind of thing.
so many
So-
people though look through that paper and read every single word about that paper.
Man.
You know, I do, we like having a paper.
My last article.
It might be better, just saying, that's what I'm finding for the chamber, I'm finding that Jason is almost one of my first calls.
And I'm not trying to speak for Jason, but he'd probably be at least interested in, if you want to do like a letter or a column in the paper.
Tanya's comment corner.
I better
Maybe that's one way to start, but I would, like on your PD website or Facebook page, just start, to try and get something out there.
I will say, I know for the PD page, it's not only you guys sharing, I feel like as soon as something is shared, like a lost dog or something like that, it is like flooded through my Facebook
Well,
of friends.
That last one about mowing grass into the street,
Yeah,
on fire.
that really did.
I almost smashed my phone.
Sorry, I saw that.
Was that guilt?
Huh?
Was that guilt?
I told my daughter to clean it up.
Excuse me. So yeah, we'll start with a couple of things like that, and maybe I will,
I'll connect with Jason and mention our meeting, so.
sounds good. The staff has received donation funds for the Osakis First Responders, Police Department, Osakis Beautification Team, Bike Rodeo, Fire Department, Fireworks, General Fund, Park Improvements, and Visitor Centers. These donations help keep our programs operating in our community. I would like to say thank you so much to all of the people that donated to us. I would read out everybody's name, but it's a long list. And, but yes, every little bit helps. We appreciate it very, very much. And we're thankful for the community support and their generosity.
I'll make a motion to approve all of the donations to the different departments and areas of Osakis.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded to approve resolution 2025-16 to approve the donations to the city of Osakis for the purposes listed for the first responders, beautification team, police department, bike rodeo, fire department, fireworks, general fund, park improvements, and visitor centers. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. We have several special event requests for the Immaculate Conception Church for their festival on August 17th. Osakis Chamber of Commerce for Taste of Osakis, September 6th, 5th, 6th, and 7th. And Christian Motorcycle Club for August 15th. Anybody have any,
I just have an update for the map. The DNR, if you look under the Taste of Osakis one, the DNR did say no to using the boat landing, so, we were talking about maybe doing some sort of demo, down there. Corey had brought up, so that is not the case. It will be blocked off as usual, not the extensions like what you see, it will be as in previous years.
okay,
I will make a motion to approve the special event, one-day liquor license for Immaculate Conception on the 17th of August.
I'll second.
motion has been made and seconded to approve a special event for a one-day liquor license for Immaculate Conception on August 17th, 2025, and block off 4th Avenue East, contingent on receiving all necessary approvals and insurance for events. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
I'll make a motion to approve the special event for the 3-day liquor license for the Osakis Chamber for Taste of Osakis held September 5th through the 7th.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded to approve the special event and 3-day liquor license at locations indicated for Osakis Chamber of Commerce, Taste of Osakis on September 5th through the 7th, 2025, and block indicated streets contingent on receiving all necessary approvals and insurance for events. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Motion to approve the special event for Christian's Motorcycle Club on August 15th from 4:30 to 9.
I'll second that.
Motion has been made and seconded to approve the special event for Christian Motorcycle Club on August 15th, 2025, and Block Central from 4:30 PM to 9 PM. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Did you have anything else you needed to add on it, like the Christian event or anything?
No, I'm meeting with him on Wednesday this week. We'll go over the details of what they plan to do in town. I've got a brief list of, volunteer items that they're gonna do. They're gonna lead the 2 welcome signs coming into town. Trying to give them jobs that they can just do on their own. We don't really have volunteer staff to go and babysit them throughout town, so they're gonna do that. They will go and deadhead flowers, weed, water flowers. They're gonna go up to Galleon. They've got some volunteer work with a bunch of them. We're gonna do up there. Approximately 50 of them or so, 50 to 100 is what he kind of had mentioned to me. I don't know if that's changed. But he said they do that, and then we'll block off the main street. They'll do their bike show, and then they do kind of a little skit with their bikes down Central to show the kids or whoever's there to watch. some games. They have little games that they play on their bikes. And then, we'll have a movie in the park, afterwards, after dark. I think the Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts are all kind of now just scouts together. They're gonna be down there selling something, I'm not really sure, popcorn or something. And I think we're working with, Elam Church on the movie.
Did you have to do Nelson about selling stuff?
Dean and Amy,
Okay.
they're doing it.
Okay, so it's not scouts then?
That's what they said it was.
Oh, fine.
Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, Cub Scouts, it's all together scouts, right? That's what they told us.
Well, no, unfortunately. So Cub Scouts, we have a family pack and we have a pilot program for the troop with boys and girls. But to my knowledge, we haven't been asked to go down and sell anything. And I know they're not a part of Scouts, unless they're Girl Scouts, potentially, but not part of Boy
Their
Scouts.
own scouts? I have no idea.
I might have to
That's
reach
what
out
they
to
told
them.
me.
Yeah,
That's what they told
interesting.
us at the chamber.
I'm not aware.
We have another meeting on
Perfect.
Wednesday.
Fabulous, then you have some of her rest, yeah.
They did this last year too, didn't they?
Yeah, but they had it was a national thing last year, so they were really more inundated. They might be reaching out to you.
They did.
Okay, I know they reached out to Dan and asked him to come out there and he did this big welcome thing for them. They really enjoyed that. It's a much smaller group out at Geneva Bible Camp. That's where they camp and stay. And they meet there in the mornings, they kind of get up and have a breakfast and then have a little prayer service, whatever. But when they all get there on Thursday night, I think they wanted the mayor to come out and
Yeah,
just
he mentioned
welcome
it.
them into town.
And he said that he would try to get a hold of me on Wednesday too when he's in town.
Okay, yeah. Last year was a national, so they came from all over the US and some from a couple other areas, but, this year it's just Minnesota, back to Minnesota, but they keep wanting to come back to town. It's hard to find enough stuff for them to do, like work-wise, because we just don't have the manpower to be with them all day to do the stuff. It's sad, because I think we all could probably find stuff for them to do, we just don't have the volunteers to do it.
Now, do they go up and show like the residents of the Galleon their motorcycles or anything like that too? Perfect.
Yep, they've actually put residents on their motorcycles. Mhm.
Super fun.
Yeah, they love it,
That's so great.
they love it, I think Allen really looks forward to it. We don't get a lot of people downtown, honestly, it's kind of sad. But I was hoping that if we could get, getting Elam into it and then whatever the scouts team is, I thought really getting more of the kids involved,
Right.
maybe that would, it's basically just letting the town know that just because you're on a motorcycle doesn't mean you're a gang member. I mean, that looked pretty wild, but
I thought you were again.
I know. But they give out awards, I mean, they went around and they got prizes, like they gave, I won an award of one of my bikes one year and I got a gift certificate to the Tip Top and like they go around and they purchase things from all the different, shops in town and they give those awards out to the winners of the bike show or whatever, but I don't know, they just wanna really give back to the community. They don't want me as a biker to join their club. They're not harassing me to join their club. They just want to, they love our coffee shop. They just love our small community and want to be a part of it.
Yep, that's great.
Very awesome.
Community center, Angela and Randy are working on adding, a fenced-in area in the back room for community center supplies and equipment for the cleaners and that type of stuff, so that if we do have events there, people aren't grabbing that stuff. I see that they have gotten a quote, or that they're looking at getting a quote No, they've got the quote.
Mhm.
Quote for $1,925. They do have $1,264 left in the back room remodel fund. Maybe we could see if there'd be any of the, I didn't look to see if any of the donations came in for the community center or not. Maybe we could look at doing something like that. Angela doesn't have on here that she's looking for approval of that.
Well, I think she is, because I had it start. I think she discussed a motion to approve it. And I understood that, for like the janitor, that area was gonna be locked up.
Yep.
You know, so not everybody could just go in and out of that area. And his supplies would be kept more orderly, I suppose.
So along that lines, so I rented the community center recently. We need to, like, when he comes in next time, can I just have him give a new, like, it was so hard to sweep and clean up after what we had there. They need a new room and dustpan down there. They need a new vacuum. It's so bad. Like, I struggled trying to just
Mhm.
use it's not.
Shoots more out than
Well,
it sucks in.
weren't you saying that last Christmas?
Yes.
About the broom and the
Yes,
homemade
and the
thing he
broom
had?
is hard to use. It's fine for him to use, but,
Uh-huh.
okay, so if you're gonna lock up what he uses for cleanup, my suggestion, because I've also rented it several times, and I would say then you better make sure it's very clear on who rents it, where their stuff is that they're supposed to use, because it is kind of a crapshoot searching through everything on finding stuff.
I was saying, I think that's the reason
Garbage
they're trying to get all of that back.
The
That back
checklist
area.
is
Uh-huh.
great. I will say that it's nice to have that checklist. Also, while you're on the topic, you should not have to clean the place when you're renting it. Okay? You should not have to tear down the little coffee area and all the garbage that's sitting on that with the leftover plates of leftover food. Should not be cleaned by the person that's renting it. That stuff should be all cleaned up and removed. Move the coffee pot into the kitchen where it belongs. Why is that table even there? Doesn't belong, doesn't even match. You know, it's a beautiful place, and then you've got that going on. You shouldn't have to clean it to use it.
No.
Okay.
Well, and to my knowledge, this fenced-in area was really for like the floor cleaner and stuff like that. Like those really big things were like the
Are people
vacuum,
messing with
the-
it?
I think it's just to keep people from not messing with it.
Yeah.
Like it is
They,
programmed.
it happened a couple of times. I think
Yeah.
something was taken off of it apart. Or-
Yeah, like it's set
So-
to clean the
Mhm.
floor properly, and if people go back and kind of fiddle with switches and stuff, then it's not gonna be turn it on and do it again, you have to reorganize it, but vacuum, dust, pan, broom,
Broom.
all of that
Mhm.
should be acceptable and
Yeah.
not hurt. Yes.
Mhm.
Well, I will make a motion to approve the quote that we received so we can move forward with that in the bathroom.
Motion has been made and seconded to approve the quote for, forever fencing quote of $1,925 at the community center. All in favor say aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
So do you have a problem if I encourage them to get a new broom and dustpan and vacuum when he comes in, or what do we want to do about that?
Let me talk to Angela, because now, do we want a new broom and dustpan for the rental people?
We were
I
sure
would
the
say
answer
so.
to that.
But let me talk to Angela, do we want to get separate for the cleaner to keep in his area and for the rental people?
Mhm.
Okay?
Yeah,
And then,
for sure.
but yes, we can go ahead and,
Okay.
we'll get that taken care of.
Okay. sounds
But I'm wondering if we want, to keep them separate.
And then you should talk about a vacuum cleaner
Yeah,
too.
yeah, I've got that
because
written on here, so.
We had gotten one from Laura, just a nice little small one, and it works slick up here. Yeah,
Bagless one, so
Mhm.
you aren't.
right, yes.
Yep, I've got both
Mm-hmm.
of them written down here, so, again, just so that I can know that what we tell the cleaner, you know. And then where we put stuff for the rental people.
Yep.
So we have that, and see if they can mark that clearly too, so that everybody knows where their supplies are.
So can't you just lock that back door? If you're gonna have everything in that middle room, can't you just lock the back door so when people are renting it, they don't have access to that back area? Instead of spending
Chairs.
$1,900,
They need chairs, and they need more tables, and they have to get back there.
but they aren't giving out a key anymore to anybody. So he has to go there and unlock it, so he could communicate with them, say, hey, you need any more chairs or tables? And he could help wheel them out when he does that.
Maybe a question for him, how setup goes.
Because sometimes, he probably comes in half an hour early before people get there, I'm guessing. I don't even know if he's in the building when people start arriving for when they've reserved to rent it. But that would be a question for him.
Well, that's what Isla had originally told me, is that
Oh.
I need to know a time because he needs to be there to unlock the door. Well, then I was like, well, I'm not gonna be able to set up all these Christmas trees in one night.
Yeah.
So then they gave me a key, but for somebody who is only using it for one day, my understanding is they don't get a key anymore at all.
No,
He meets them there, unlocks, and he could ask them at that time, or is this enough seating and tables for you?
Mhm. Yeah.
It'd be cheaper than $1,900 and easier than having to set up some fence.
I wonder, and this is probably a question for him and what goes on down at the community center, but it could be an issue with
well, you got the
people,
seniors,
the senior club
Mhm.
and the cleaners and all.
scouts too, they have things, whoever stores things back
Yeah.
there.
Whatever is back there.
Mhm.
I feel like
And we
it's,
have ours out of there too, except for,
Mhm.
we have ours out of there.
Mhm.
It's just the Christmas trees that belong there.
I was thinking, I don't think there's very much in that back room right now,
Mhm.
other than our cleaning supplies, tables, and chairs, I think.
So it'd be probably the Meals on Wheels that have the extra containers and collection.
Probably, I honestly, I've been back there a couple of times, but I'll be there on Wednesday, I'll walk back there and look. And then, yeah.
Well, is
I'll
that
say-
room for the
Is it-
extra supplies?
Is it against the fire department has a push button code to their doors on the outside? Is that something we can't do back there to change the code like once a month? So if somebody does know the code, then it randomizes it. So we don't have to worry about losing keys or even the front door or, those codes can be programmed, so you can give them out to, let's say she wants it for 3 days, well, here's the code for this building, but it locks up after 15 minutes unless you have whatever. I don't know, there's so many things out there that.
And I think you can have different codes to put, you can have more than just one code, so
all temporary
you give
codes.
her a code that she's for renting it, and the other people who are going back there all the time have a code because you wouldn't want it changing on them, they
Also, our
wouldn't be
door
able to.
in the PD, we can set it so it has a code for you for
Mhm.
8 hours.
Temporary,
or whatever,
yeah.
I don't know, it sounds
Mhm.
just more keys.
check it out when you go.
I'm gonna do that.
I think it's necessary.
Yes, I will check that out. And like I say, as far as the room and dustpan and vacuum, I'm just gonna find out if we think we need 2. One for the cleaner and then one for the rental. And I'll take care of that. The I-94 sign by the interstate was blown down in the storm on June 19th. It has been turned into insurance. We do have it insured for $22,000. Right now, the EDA was informed of this, and we are working on getting quotes for costs to put that back up. So we won't know anything till August meeting, after the EDA meeting at the end of the month. And I have no further business. Is there any further business you guys have? Motion is made and seconded to adjourn. All in favor, say aye. Opposed, same sign. No, meeting adjourned.
Yeah, good.
I wasn't harassing you about the grass, I don't know that you were about grass.
It actually be my last meeting. I moved into. Sunday. Church down there, so. Yeah.
Congratulations. We're in Texas.
Seguin, Stand.
Yeah.
Ironically, the pastor here, Osakis Lutheran Church, she comes from, she grew up about an hour from here.
Really?
So- No, I told Jason, you know, I cover this one city council, one less evening for him to figure out that. New Angela's daughter is, someone's gonna interview me about this, so.
Yes,
The anchor has a new.
Yes, state farm, so I don't know.
Angela